Good evening, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays. Douglas Stein here, PPE Advantage. I thought I'd take a few moments to talk about thickness and size. Now, I know where most of your minds are going right now, but it's actually the thickness of nitrile gloves and the size ratios at factories. So get your minds out of the gutters and let's see if we can learn a little something. So brokers and buyers alike specify 4 mils as a thickness standard, like it means something, or it's a required thickness for medical grade nitrile gloves, and it's just not. So there are 2 standards required to be medical grade or examination grade nitrile in the US. The first is an FDA registration assigned to the factory, and 2, the gloves passing the requirements of an ASTM 6319 test in the current calendar year. The thickness requirements for a medical grade glove is 0.05 mm or micrometers. Even though the test is an American standard, the measurements is done in microns and not mils. People confuse mm's with millimeters and mils with milliliters, which is actually a liquid measurement. So to convert mm's to mils, there's a special conversion. Let's take a look. So here I have a conversion chart that converts millimeters to mils. And I just want to plug in 0.05 millimeters, which is the ASTM standard for medical grade gloves, and you can see it's barely even 2 mils thick. So the people that are asking for 4 mils or 3 mils or 5 mils, let's take another look. So 0.10 is just barely 4 mil. 0.12 is 4.75. 0.11 is about 4.3. So we'd probably have to be around 10.5. Let's just call it 10.25. to be right in there at the 4s. So as you can see, it's almost double the medical requirement. So moving back to another chart, let's take a look at the ASTM requirement. So this is the ASTM standard guideline from the ASTM, and if you can go down here, I don't know if you can see this, but the tolerance and dimension thickness is in millimeters at the finger and the palm. For all sizes, 0.055 is the minimum, 0.055 at the palm. So they measure at the fingertips and the palm. They do also measure at the cuff, but that's mostly for chemo grades. That's what keeps the liquid in. But the reason why they don't spend a lot of time measuring at the cuffs is because it's beaded. Anyway, let's just take a look at an SGS test for one of our gloves and see where you find this on an SGS report, so you can do the equivalent conversion on a chart. And so you can see in this Mazda example, they do 13 different gloves and they measure at the fingertips, and here they show the ASTM requirement, which is the 0.05 mm, and what all the gloves measured at. Now these are a really thick glove, so we're very lucky, and at the palm you can see it's a little bit less. But these gloves measured quite nicely, and if you go back to the chart, let's just say 15, 14, 13, let's just say this is an average of about 14 mils, so going back to our graph, so about, let's just say 13 and a half. So these are a 5.5 mil glove in this particular test, which is lovely. But you don't always get that lucky, and quite honestly, you don't need that thickness. The thicker the glove doesn't mean the better the glove. So we have that, and then let's go back to talking about how gloves are measured now. More and more, the industry is moving to determine thickness by weight, so grams, because technically measurement's not really accurate, because the thickness varies across the glove. The glove hands hold upside down, if you've ever seen those machines, so they're going to be thickest at the fingertips and thinnest at the wrist where the liquids can get in. But that's why they make the beaded cuff. So the gram weight's a more accurate reflection of the amount of material used in a glove, and it requires only a simple digital scale rather than using like a micrometer at a test. And truth be told, SGS and other inspection companies, they really don't bring micrometers to any inspections. They rely on the factory to provide that, and most of the time, the factory is going to tell the SGS inspectors they don't have a micrometer. So they go back to weighing. So let's take a look at this. Weighing's a really good indication based on the overall size and thickness of a glove. So we have a chart for that, of course. So here's a glove measurement in grams. And this shows latex, vinyl, and then down here it shows different brands of nitrile. And you can see that their weight, which was weighed, is comparable to what mil of a glove. So personally for us, we're looking at an SGS test more than a micrometer reading. We're looking for a grams reading, somewhere between 4 and 4.5. So 4 grams to 4.5 grams is going to be about a 4 mil glove. 3.5 grams even is going to be about a 4 mil glove. So don't automatically assume that thickness and is quality and strength, because when it comes to gloves, especially disposable ones, thicker's not always better, should not always be the principal driver when you're looking at quality, the quality of gloves. So now let's talk about the size ratio. Let me get my screen back up here big. So size ratio. I often get people coming to me and asking me, can I order just mediums or just larges and extra larges? It's true. Look, America, we're a big country with big people, but unfortunately the answer is no right now. While about 5 months ago it was really possible to order like outside the standard ratio, right now I really doubt that any factory is going to let you stay away from the normal ratio. And the standard in the industry is 1-4-4-1, which is 10% small, 40% medium, 40% large, and 10% extra large. So why won't the factories vary anymore? Well, they're too freaking busy. That's the biggest reason. Before COVID, some of the factories would allow custom ratios, but it's hard to give them to them because what they have to do is they have to shut down their lines. So they have certain lines that are small, certain lines that are medium, certain lines that are large, right? So they have to close down their small lines, take those hands off, the small hands, and they have to refit them with the large hands, and then they have to rock and roll. And so it takes a lot of labor, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of costs, and they're just going to be backlogged. And that's the same reason why you can't switch colors right now. People often ask me for black, or there was pink during breast cancer awareness. There's just no time to do that. They have to drain the dripping troughs. They have to clean them with a power washer, fill them each time, change the color. It just takes days. It slows them down. They're not going to do it. So my advice to anyone that's buying gloves is you just need to go with the ratio. It's 1-4-4-1, and sell the ratio when you get it on the ground. Don't allow people to cherry pick or load up on the large ones, because you're going to end up stuck with odds amount of inventory. It's going to be harder to sell them through. So I would almost bet right now you could go out and find 1 million boxes of smalls on the ground if you made an announcement about it. But anyway, that's really all I have for today. That's my thickness and size story. Happy holidays to all of you. Be safe out there. Wear a frickin' mask.